Today I'm going to teach you how to create a simple animated subscribe button just like the one here for free using DaVinci Resolve 17. So don't worry, you don't ever have to have used the software previously. I've only been using it for maybe a couple of weeks now, at most in total a dozen hours, kind of playing around because I want to create a bunch of other video editing tutorials, and it's probably one of the better options for a free video editing software. There is a pro version, but you don't need that for anything we're going to be doing today. So what I wanted to do is, if you download the software, open it up, I'll walk you through step-by-step how to create the animation. If you choose to edit all your videos within DaVinci Resolve, cool. But what I thought would be more helpful is if I show you how to add a blue or green screen to it, something you can take away the background later, and basically you can use it in whatever video editing software you're currently using. So if you stick around till the end of the video, after we create the animation, I'm going to show you how to add the blue screen, export the video, and then how to add that clip into iMovie and then remove the background, and you're good to go. So why don't we hop on the computer and I'll show you how everything works. So when you open up DaVinci Resolve, it should look something like this, and you want to click on New Project. Give it a name, so sub button animation. And then what you want to do as the very first step is click on the project settings. And then you want to make sure that you're using the right frame rate that you normally use for your videos. And so if you normally record at 24 frames, or a lot of our videos are in 30, so I'll change that so that the timeline frame rate and then the playback frame rate will be now set to 30. And then I can click on save. And then basically what we're going to do now within DaVinci Resolve are called fusions, are the animations. We can create one in a couple of different ways. We could go up to effects and then drag this down onto the timeline. But basically what I'm going to show you how to do is, if you actually go down to the bottom down here, this is the fusion tab. You can click here. And then here's where we're going to build everything out. And so it looks really complicated, but I promise if you just follow through these steps, you'll be able to do it. So these are the different things that you can add. And as soon as you pull one of them down, so this is a rectangle, which is what we need for the subscribe button. And then it also adds a media out, which is basically like the very end result. And so what's going to happen is we have to connect a whole bunch of things in between these two. So first we have a rectangle. And what we want to do here is make this look like a subscribe button. And so the thing for me is maybe the width is okay, but it's too tall. So something more like that probably. And then also the corners of the subscribe button aren't pointed, they're slightly rounded. So something like that. And then the next thing we need to do is add color to it. So you don't actually change the rectangle color, you essentially need to add a background. And so what we'll need to do here is basically you add the background like this, and then you're essentially playing connect the dots. So add that to background, add that to media out. Now we have a black background, which is not the subscribe button. So what we do here is click on the black, and then you get this little dial over here. There's a couple of different options to select colors. What I like to do is just use the eyedropper tool like this. I want to say click on this channel. I'll pause it. So we want this color, which is slightly different than the YouTube logo. And then again, DaVinci Resolve, eyedropper, go back to YouTube, go over top of this, and then just click down. We go back, you can see there's the color, click OK, and now we have a subscribe button. So what's missing? We need some text. So where is the little text icon? We're going to pull that right here. So for the text, what do we want it to say? Subscribe, like so. So maybe not in bold, maybe we want to use semi-bold in white. And then what we have here, they're called merge nodes, which are these ones here. And so what we can do is drag this down right here. So before media out, and then we have the text, and then we basically connect the merge. It's merging the rectangle in the background with the text. And what you can see here is for the button size, the text is too small. So you could obviously change the rectangle size, or you could change the font size. And so let's change the font. So you see size here. And so maybe we go to 0.1, maybe a little bigger, go 0.11. Something like that. Okay, so we have the subscribe button. And if you saw the animation, we had it subscribe and subscribed and someone clicking on it essentially. So what you want to do here is you have these 4 nodes, and you want to hit Command C and then click off of it and Command V. And so what we're doing here is we now have a copy of the subscribe button. So what we want to do now is go and edit each one. So the text is now going to say subscribed. And then what we need to do is change the background color. So it's no longer red. We need to be the gray of subscribed. And so if we were to subscribe to this channel, you can see we want that color now. And then again, click on the eyedropper, go to YouTube, go over top of it, click here, then click OK. Now we have this color background, and then we need the color for the text. So again, click here, click the eyedropper, go back to YouTube, scroll over the text right there, go back, click OK. Okay, so now this set of 4 nodes is the subscribed past tense. I've already taken the action, and this is the red subscribe button. What we need is another merge node that would go right here, and then basically, again, connect the dots. Okay, so you can see that it switched from subscribed to subscribed. That is essentially happening right here where it says blend. So if it's at 1, it's this series, this set right here. And then if it's all the way at the other end, it's going to be at subscribe. And so what we're going to want to do here, I'm going to show you, is we're going to have to essentially add keyframes to all the different actions we want to be taken. So one of the first ones we could do is actually this transition from subscribe to subscribed. And really we're going to do it over just a couple frames. And so the very middle of this entire thing would be 75. And so what we could do is if we go to, so we're on the merge, this is where the change between the two happens. And then if we click on frame 75, we don't necessarily want there, we want 74. What we're gonna do is, when these little things are where you add the keyframes. And so what we'll do is on blend at frame 74, what we'll do is click on this here to tell it, hey, in frame 74, this is what we want. And then what we're going to say is one frame, the other side of half is where we're going to change this to the other. And so you can see it already lit up in red, so it know that those were the changes. So if we click over here and hit play now, you're going to see that it already made that change for us. So we now have the transition from subscribed to subscribed. What we need to do now is there's one other step to it, which is this right here are transform nodes. So what we'll do here is we need a little bit more space. Let's stretch that out and then add a transform right here. Okay, so this basically transform happens to everything that's on the left side of it. And so what do we need to do now is we need to animate this. So you could have this as far as the size, if you went all the way down to 0 and disappear to 1, if you wanted to have, let's say it come in that way. I like to have it come in from the bottom. And so what we need to do now is again, select the different keyframes. Let's say it takes a second to go from below screen to on screen. So what we want to do is at 30 frames right here, we want to mark the location as right in the middle. So that's right here. At the end, we want to do the same thing. So basically from below screen to here is where it's going to come on screen. And then the last second is where it's going to disappear. So if we mark here, we also want this location. Now what we want to do is go back to frame 0 and to say, here what we want is it to be the y-axis to be below. So say -1, and then it's off screen. So what we can do now is if we hit play, what you're going to see is, there you go. So I don't have the world's best MacBook, and so this may not actually play back in real time, but once you export everything and you're using it in one of your videos, it will play back just fine. And then again, so here we have it in the center, and then the very last frame, so frame 149, we want to make that same change. So if we do -1 and then hit enter. So now we're going to see if we let it play, is it rises up, stays there for 3 seconds, switches to subscribed, and then goes away. Now what we want to do is the part where we're essentially telling, where it looks like you're clicking on it. And so you can basically simulate that by making the subscribe button get smaller. And so the middle frame was 75. What we want to do is mark 5 frames before as full size. So you go over here for size and mark the keyframe right there, and then do the same thing at frame 80. So again, so full size. And then what we want to do at frame 75 is we want it to be smaller. And then I'll show you what that looks like as we change it. So 0.9, enter. And so now what happens if we go back here, hit play, you're going to see it get smaller, then get bigger as it's switching from subscribed to subscribed. Just like that. And it looks like essentially someone had clicked on it. And that's the entire animation. And so what we want to do now is, what I like to do is add actually some sound to it so that, you know, you actually hear someone clicking on it. And so what you want to do here is go to the edit screen. So right here, so you have the Fusion composition it's called. And then what we can do now is add some audio. So what you can do here, so you can go to youtube.com/audio library like this. Then it'll take you to basically this screen here, and you can then click on sound effects. There's, I think, 1 mouse click. So if you go click, it's called click continuous. I'm still on cap lock, click like this. You can see here's the audio clip. I already downloaded it. And so what I can do now is back in DaVinci Resolve, what I do is, here is the audio, just drag it right here. I can then get rid of that. And then what I'll do is, so here you can basically zoom in and out of the clip. And so what you want to do is not have it be too big, something like that. And so basically at 2.5 seconds is where I would want the sound effect. So if I drag this down to here, what I would want to do is I want to be able to see the audio a little bit better, so I could turn the, there, so I can turn the volume up a little bit. And then so I can see where the clicks are. And so what I want to do is maybe trim this to here. So on this sound clip, there's a bunch of mouse clicks. I just want the one for this animation. And so what I would do, again, is if I'm clicking on the timeline, is find right that midpoint of, where are we at? 102. So 102.15. So this is the last part, is the frame. So frame 15 and there's 30 in a second. So this is right where that change happens. So you can see the sound happening right there. So I probably want to even shorten that like so. And then so if I do this, if we play, and basically there it is. So we have the entire animation with the click in the center of it, and that's really all you have to do. Okay, so now let's take a look what this looked like if I add another video clip to it. And so if we just drag this this video clip right here, and then what I can do is add another video to the timeline, something like this. Move this over. And then what you want to do is, usually you want to have this basically on top of the other layer. And so have that be video 1, have the Fusion composition as video 2, and then let's see what it looks like.
How to start a YouTube channel for beginners in 2021. So there's still...
Okay, so you can see what that looks like now. Obviously this takes up the entire screen, and that's not what you're looking for here. So if you click on the Fusion composition, there's this little icon here for transform, and then you can click transform, and this is basically the size of this. So you can see that it's going to get smaller. What you might want to do is zoom out a little bit so you can see better. And then you can basically decide, hey, how big do I want to make this and where do I want it? So you could put it on in the left corner here, or let's say we put it over here in the corner. If you're editing a video within DaVinci Resolve, you can do essentially just this. And then so now if we went through,
So there's still a ton of opportunity available on YouTube. But
it's
the most important thing is to
it's
get
rendering
started
a
and
little bit
start
slow. It's one of the issues. So if you're editing within this software, you could just do it this way. But what I thought might be more helpful is essentially show you how you can use this animation with whatever video editing software you're currently using. Have you signed up for a YouTube Masterclass yet? If not, I'll link to it down below in the description. It's a free 1-hour training with tons of tips to help you grow on YouTube in 2021. So I created these in Canva, where I basically created something the size of the video screen, which is 1920 by 1080. And so you could use a blue or a green screen. This is just a solid image. I could drag this down, and now if we let this play, kind of the same thing. It's still the smaller size of just a second ago, and then I could move this over to the corner like so. And then this is basically good to go. If you quite sure how to make an image like this that's a solid color, I'll show you another way that's basically the same thing we did for the subscribe button, but super, super easy. So if you again go to Effects Library, go to Fusion Composition, drag another one down here, and then what you can do on this is then if you go to Open in Fusion page, we're gonna have just a blank one with media out. And really all we need here is a background. So if you add a background, connect the dots, and then what we did before is just change the color. And so you could, obviously we have these images here, but what you could also do is if you click the eyedropper, and you could go up to those screens that I just had, or the other thing is if you were to go, oops, let me just open up Google. So I basically Googled blue screen color, and you see it basically looks like that. So the eyedropper, go there, click here, go back, click OK. And then now with another Fusion composition, I think it's called, you can, basically create that like so. And then if we go back to editing, we, have essentially the same look. So you can see now the subscribe button come up, subscribed, and goes away. And there you go. So what you want to do here, so you want to export this so then you can use this in other software. If you go to File, and then the quick export is the easiest way to do it. Or if you want something more advanced, you go down to the bottom down here where it says deliver, and you have a bunch more options. But for what we want today, I think you can do everything within the quick export. And then basically if you have this first H.264, and then click on export. Sub button, blue screen, save. And then you can see, it'll take a couple of seconds to render this. That's basically all we needed for DaVinci. I don't know if I want to run this and iMovie at the same time. So save project changes, yes. And then let's open up iMovie, and I'll show you how you can add this to that. Create new. You can see I've been playing around with this a little bit. Then what we could do is go here. So we have that same clip that I showed you a second ago, and we have our subscriber button screen. And so we'll bring that down as well. And then so basically within iMovie, you can have up to 2 clips. You could see in DaVinci, you could add more different layers. And what you want to do is select this. And then if you go to this, instead of cutaway, you want to choose blue or green screen. And voila, the blue background is gone, and you're left with this. And so, if I just wanted to split the clip to make this as short as possible. Okay, I don't know how that got in the center there, but let's get rid of all this. So we have a fairly short video.
And start publishing videos on your channel. So in this video, I'm going to walk you.
If you have trouble creating the animation yourself, I'm actually going to put a link down below in the description where you can just download what I put together. So there'll be the DaVinci project as well as just a video clip with a blue screen. Feel free to use either of those for anything you'd like. So what do you think? Do you have your subscribe button animation all set up? If you want to do something more advanced, here's what we're currently using in our videos. This took a little bit more time on my part, Googling, practicing to get it all figured out. But if you're interested in learning how I created this animated subscribe button, write advanced animation down below in the comment section, and I'd be happy to create a video walking you through step by step how to do it. If you're looking to grow your YouTube channel this year, we have a ton of videos on the channel. You should definitely check out this playlist here. Basically, we'll go over everything you need to know about how to grow on YouTube in 2021. I hope to see you in those and future videos. Bye-bye.